good evening, mi amigos, and it is April and springtime, or at least that's what I've been told, although there really isn't anything in Chicago right now that is going to be a strong testimonial to that. But at any rate, I did want to have a brief chat about this new moon because I do feel like this is a significant new moon in that it is initiating a cycle of new territory for absolutely everybody. I don't think anybody's going to be left behind. And if they are left behind, it is only because they're having a temper tantrum. So it's all right to walk away from them. Anyway, getting right down to business here, and bear with me as we look at all the configurations going on with this new moon. First thing that I really find exciting and dynamic is that this new moon was in a very tight conjunction with Uranus in Aries. And Uranus is the alternative thinker. You know, Uranus is that Aquarian theme, the person who marches to the beat of a different drummer. And all you have to do is look around, and you're seeing it everywhere. Bernie Sanders is a brilliant example. Donald Trump, another brilliant example. People who are coming at us from angles that are not part of the populist thinking. And it is fascinating watching this political year because I think we're all learning a lot about ourselves. You know, the people that we have put into office, the conditions that we have set into motion over the last 50, 100, 200, 300 years are really being put under the microscope. We are having to look very deeply at what they represent and recognize that they represent us. And what part of your consciousness is Donald Trump all about? What part of your consciousness is Bernie Sanders all about? What a part of your consciousness is these radical shifts and changes that are going on right now? And perhaps it's all about shaking you loose from your comfort zones, putting you in a entirely new position to approach life from an entirely different vector. So it is going to be fun as we watch this moon and sun activity progress now for the next 28-day cycle. And by the time it's all resolved or all fully revealed, as it were, we will be ensconced in Taurus. And Taurus is when we go about our daily business of not just survival, but learning how to place the right value on the right things. So the last half of April and May is going to be kind of reclaiming our grounding after the big upheavals that we're seeing happen as the sun is unfolding in the sign of Aries. And Aries is all about the ram slamming its way through the world, breaking down boundaries, busting through doors, and coming to a whole different level of self-awareness. So these are very exciting times that are upon us. Now, if we look closely at that Sun, Uranus, Moon communion, I will call it, in the sign of Aries, and then we skip right across to good old Pluto in Capricorn, squaring that triumvirate in the sign of the Ram. Well, again, we're dealing with Earth energy, Pluto in Capricorn, in square. Now, square is conflict. Square is something where there is a lack of ease. There are factors at work here that cause us discomfort. I won't say, you know, they're malefic necessarily, but they force us to look at life from a different perspective. And good old Pluto is about the generations, all of the generations. Pluto has always represented the collective consciousness and bringing up all of our hidden fears, all of our desires, all of our collective expectations. So we're seeing that square kind of kick off a cycle of revelation. And we're seeing that all around us. We're seeing a lot of things brought to the surface about all the different political parties, all the different political candidates, that they would probably be a lot more comfortable if you did not have all of those details at your fingertips. So thanks to the internet, thanks to alternative media, we're able to get more and more clarity as to what's really going on in the world around us. And we're seeing a lot of people, myself included, stepping away from having that kind of a blind, dumb trust in the process of mainstream media, mainstream imagery and ideology. So these are very, very exciting times, and times of big shifts and big changes. In addition, now this is what adds even more fuel to the fire, as it were. We have that lovely interaction of Saturn feeding into that trine. Saturn's down there in Sagittarius, and feeding that energy, the Saturnian energy, which is roll up your sleeves. You know, it's time to get down and do the dirty work. It's time to push forward here and put the effort into our lives that is necessary for us to make the transformation, to step out of the old pattern. So that Saturn is feeding a lot of energy into both the activity of the the moon, Uranus, and sun activity in Aries, as well as that Plutonian square that's going on. So we do really have a very powerful set of circumstances that are kind of polarizing a lot of us from each other, but at the same time revealing our own vulnerability. Because the more we engage in anger and hatred toward others, the more that it is going to become clearly obvious that that boomerangs, that comes back into our own lives. So with that very powerful configuration or series of configurations, we will be stepping into completely new territory. And I think a lot of the younger generation is going to educate the rest of us. I know my grandson is 17 now, and he is better equipped to go into the voting booth, which he will be doing this year for the first time, and making a solid and meaningful statement about what America and what the world really is all about. And I'm seeing a lot of these kids in that age range who are looking at things without all of the old biases and without all of the old fears that have driven the rest of us for so many, many decades now. So it is an exciting era, and keep your eyes on the kids around you. They are going to teach you a lot about yourself and the world at large. Now, what else is happening here? Well, we've got Mars sitting there that will, in that kind of off the grid zone in one sense at 8 degrees of Sagittarius, but it is interactive in that it is squaring Neptune and Pisces. So we are looking at a new way to interpret our spirituality, and it's being forced out of this old paradigm of the masculine energy, the Mars energy. And of course, Mars is the ruler of Aries. So all of this stuff is kind of almost like a hip hop dance. It's bouncing all over the place, and it's giving us a lot of imagery that deals with the idea of perhaps it's time for the old gender identification thing to finally come into cessation. The more that we identify God as a he or as a her, the more we limit God. And of course, the more we limit God, the more we limit ourselves, because we are an expression of that which is divine. and we have to see ourselves as whole and complete and outside of the realm of duality in any form. So that Mars Pisces kind of tension in there is really causing us to have to look at our roles and our genders, and perhaps remove some of the veils. You know, the Neptunian energy is to make the illusion so powerful that we finally stop believing in it, that we finally arrive at a point where we can look at the illusion and go, that's not real. And of course, that is a big step in our forward movement toward final awakening. In addition to all of those interesting things that are going on there, we do have kind of a nice interaction here with that Jupiter energy, as it is setting a little bit offline. It's not entirely offline, but it's not having a huge impact. It is in square to Saturn. So that square from the earthy Virgo sign, flipping over into Saturn in that fiery Sagittarian realm, is kind of acting as a counterbalance. You know, Jupiter wants to expand, Saturn wants to consolidate. So that push-pull kind of interaction that's going on there is actually being fed up into, once again, that Sun-Moon conjunction in Aries. So we're recognizing our possibilities, the Jupiterian energy, the expansion of all these wonderful possibilities. But we're also realizing the Saturnian side, which is we've got to work our butt off in order to make all this stuff happen. So we see all these different interactions going on, and it's really very powerful and very exciting and a very dynamic time for all of us here on the planet. So that's just a brief update as to what this new moon represents. And of course, you have to apply all this stuff to your own charts. So, you know, get yourself a chart and start playing around with it and try to figure out how these different interactions are impacting your personal life. I know with myself, I'm stepping into an era of new growth, new vision, new activity. And I will make mention of the fact that I have a new interest now with my body app thing, my vitamin line that I am representing. So I would invite you to stop by my website, onefeatherjournal.com, and check it out on the services page. So you guys get out there, share the love, pass the love around, have fun. If you have any questions, shoot me an email, connect with me on Facebook, because we are stepping off the ledge. We are moving in that that kind of Indiana Jones realm, where, if you remember Indy in the looking for the Holy Grail, he has to take that leap of faith and step off onto the invisible bridge. And that's what we're doing collectively now. So have fun as spring advances and your new life begins to unfold.